Hello from the ABA Tech Show 2018 in Chicago, Illinois. I'm Patrick Pallas, and I'm here with
Heidi Alexander,
Mary Vandenack,
and we're on the road with Legal Talk Network. And we're back. Thank you so much for joining us on the road in the Windy City. Today we're here to talk about affordable technology for small firm productivity. So, Heidi, let me start with you because I love the way you approach this topic for small and solo practitioners about the things that they need. And you started out, I don't know, maybe it's shaming, maybe it's surprising, but it's a great way to set the table. And it was the statistics that people should know that maybe they don't. Can you share some of these?
Yeah, if I remember them. The way we wanted to set it up was to say, hey, look, you need this technology. I mean, we're all at a technology conference, so we understand it, but there's actually some data to support that, right? So there's the Clio Legal Trends report, and the Clio Legal Trends report found there were a number of things, but mainly that attorneys are not billing very much time per day. And if they're not billing much time per day, then you look at their realization rates, and that's even lower. So that's a real problem. And so, thinking about how technology can really help with that. And so that's why, we started off with those statistics.
It's not just about the hours that you bill, but recapturing the hours that you lose, and that technology can play a big piece of that. You gave a statistic that I'd never heard before, which was $9,000 for time wasted in document recreation or finding documents for lawyer per year. So let me just play with that a minute. Another one you also mentioned was 2 to 4 hours searching for lost documents. So for a solo and small practitioner, the basic things that they're losing is their time for lack of having technology. Fair?
Right.
All right. So help me with some of the kind of basic things that lawyers' offices should have that will build them back these hours that they're so generously losing.
Right. Yeah, so I usually start off with the real basics, and and that's when I talk to firms that are just starting up, all they really need are two pieces of technology, a computer and a smartphone. And then we're going to get to Mary, who's going to talk to you all about her amazing automated processes and all the document management systems she has in place. But that, I think that also, comes a little bit down the road. You really have to think about what's your firm going to be like, what are your needs, how are you going to do it? Mary talks a lot about processes, and I think that's really important. But I think if you start out with the mobile phone, you've got your computer, you've got a scanner, that's pretty much what you need to get going, and then you build on that.
So Mary, you did talk about processes. And you said something that really, I shook my head and applauded you. You said, I needed a database, so I sat down and created a database in 24 hours to use. And not everybody can go and create a database, but I would love to hear a little bit about how you create processes, databases, or case management in your firm, or what you recommend for other firms to use.
So almost everybody engages in processes, but they're not really good at identifying them. So for example, and rather than go into the database, I'll just go to forming the entity, which is one of my favorite examples, and because most lawyers do that. But there's certain steps that you go through to form that entity. So it says, okay, figure that out. So you got to meet with the client. You need to get certain information. You need to do a conflicts check. You need to fill that out. So create yourself a checklist from A to Z. My mom used to say, hey, if you can read, you can do anything. So what I do is if you have a checklist that says here, do A, do B, do C, then you can do anything. So create that checklist and then automate it. I think people try and use technology first, process second. So it's process first, then automate the process. And any lawyer engages in processes.
There's that fallacy out there that all you have to do is adopt a tech product and suddenly things will be better. And it's a search for the next best, fastest product. And what I'm hearing you say is tech second. You better know your process first.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I think people spend, especially when we're talking about affordable technology, it's easy to get sold products. There's a lot of products. There's a lot of great products. But what you need to do is, how do I practice law? and what products are going to enhance, make me more efficient, and provide a better client service. And that is what the product is, right? So if you can identify that, I'm about, same way I work with a client when it comes to buying technology, what are my objectives, what am I trying to accomplish, and what tool will help me accomplish that?
During your presentation here at TechShow, I really liked your approach to management. It's kind of a no frills, like these are the things, if you're going to practice law with me in my office, that you're going to do. And there was a list of a couple things that you said. One of them was, it's a rule, nobody can save on their local drive. And you had a couple of rules like that. Nothing miscellaneous can be saved on your computers. There's no miscellaneous. Just talk to me about these really basic rules of file management that you have in your office that helps get back these lost hours of people searching for documents and things.
So what I know is that most attorneys want to have a good practice and they want to make more money. So my rules, everybody has these different personalities and I'm willing to accommodate a lot, but my rules are based on what I know about the practice of law. So that time and billing number, it's you will keep your time and you will keep it temporaneously. That's one of the rules. So our time, we've acquired timekeeping products and strategies, so our practice management system forces the timekeeping. And the same thing with the miscellaneous, that's all that time that gets lost to the file management. So we've created a file management structure that basically makes it nearly impossible, and I can say that because we have yet to lose a document or spend very much time for looking at them, so everybody has to follow those rules that are going to make you efficient. I want time entered. We want to work on the recovery rate, so how much do we actually realize out of the time spent? That was another statistic Heidi gave, that we do a poor job of actually realizing it. And then how can we be efficient, accurate, avoid malpractice, and provide good client service? And that's by having systems and having everybody follow them.
So I want to come back to the idea of software, but let me get there via hardware. Is it fair to say at this point, everyone should be paperless?
I mean, I would say you go as paperless as possible. I mean, even in Massachusetts, like our ethics board is encouraging people to go paperless because they're actually finding that there's attorneys who are passing away or retiring and they have garage full of files and they're trying to figure out what to do with them. But I think that, we have so many different options with the cloud, and, Mary and I can have that conversation later, but or that disagreement later maybe. But there's so many different options in terms of, storing the data and accessing the data, and so many amazing search capabilities that it's so easy to access the data, and it's great for attorneys who are in court, and you don't have to worry about leaving that thing, that briefcase, right? Those papers you left on your desk, like you have it all at your fingertips.
So I have my hardware, I have my scanner, I have my 2 monitors, I have my iPhone and maybe my iPad or whatever it is. So I have my basics in my office, and I have some basic software, maybe case management tools, for example. I'm going to say Clio, that's what we use in our office, but there's a lot of other tools out there. And then you expand from there, and you guys put together like this care package. It's a wish list of things that solo and small practitioners can grow into and add on to their firm to grow for added value, all to save time. Can you give me a glimpse into some of those things that you think are essential in that wish list or that next list that practitioners should have?
Well, I think you're seeing a lot of automation going on outside the legal profession. And what I want to see is lawyers doing their own automation. And so that's where I'm a real advocate for develop that process, automate that process. There's a lot of inexpensive tools. Any lawyer ought to be able to do that, maybe not themselves, but with some support that they can find reasonably and stay competitive as a solo or small firm.
So before we wrap up, I want to give everyone an opportunity who may have a question or a thought that they want to share or talk with you about, the chance to find you and to engage in that conversation. So tell me where they can find you, Heidi.
So you can find me at Heidi at MassLOMAP.org or on Twitter at Heidi Alexander.
And Mary?
The easiest way to find me is just to Google me, Mary Vandenack, Vandenack. My website is vwatTys.com.
Well, we've reached the end of the road for today's episode. I want to thank our guests, Heidi Alexander and Mary Vandenack, for joining us today. If you like what you heard, please find us and rate us in Apple Podcast. We'll see you next time for another episode of On the Road with Legal Talk Network.
If you'd like more information about what you've heard today, please visit LegalTalkNetwork.com. Subscribe via iTunes and RSS. Find us on Twitter and Facebook, or download our free Legal Talk Network app in Google Play and iTunes. The views expressed by the participants of this program are their own and do not represent the views of, nor are they endorsed by, Legal Talk Network, its officers, directors, employees, agents, representatives, shareholders, and subsidiaries. None of the content should be considered legal advice. As always, consult a lawyer.